Howdy folks, my name is Richie aka Bog Otter, back with another Hearthstone video. Today we're going to be taking on heroic Emperor Thaurissan using a budget deck. That means no legendaries and no epics, so most people should be able to craft this deck, and it's not too expensive. But I wanted to show you guys some of the mechanics of the fight before I showed you the deck list. This time, Thaurissan is going to have 15 armor as well as 30 health, so it's going to be a little bit of an uphill battle. His hero power is the same as the normal mode. It's going to deal 30 damage and basically kill you. And the way you get around this is his wife, Moira, has an ability that says Thaurissan's hero power can't be used, and she attacks every single turn, but she never attacks minions unless they have taunt. Now the big difference on this fight is she is a 3/1 creature, so she's going to hit pretty hard every turn, and she's also very fragile. She only has this 1 health, and it's easy to kind of accidentally kill her, especially with a lot of the creatures that Thaurissan is playing. He actually plays quite a few creatures and spells that can actually take her out, which would allow him to do the 30 damage to you. So I'm going to show you some of the spells and abilities to counter this. We want to be able to neutralize the amount of damage she does every turn, and also be able to avoid her dying by stuff like Unstable Ghoul. He'll put out a taunt creature. When it dies, it'll deal 1 damage to every creature. That'll take it out. He also has some A-bombs and the Death's Embrace weapon that also has a whirlwind type effect. So we have to get around all of those things and keep her alive the entire fight. Let's look at the deck. Okay, I've made a Paladin deck here, and again, this has no epics or legendaries in it. I think Paladin is pretty ideal for this fight. The first spell in here is called Blessing of Wisdom. We're going to put this on the wife as soon as we can. She has to attack every single turn, and we have to keep her alive in order to win, so it just seems great to just get an extra card every turn. I tried this deck with 2 Blessings of Wisdom at one point, and putting 2 of them on her is just not good, because you just fill up your hand way too much, and I couldn't cast anything, so I only keep 1 in the deck. If you get it on turn 1, this is something you want in your opening hand. It's amazing. I have 2 Hands of Protection. These are used to protect Moira, the wife, because of those effects I was mentioning earlier. Death's Embrace weapon will do a whirlwind effect and hit everything. The Unstable Ghoul, the A-bomb. You want to put a Hands of Protection on the wife to keep her alive in case of those types of effects. I put 2 Humilities in the deck. I'm not so sure about these cards. You can probably substitute these out if you think of something better. I originally was going to play them on the wife in order to reduce her damage, but really I'll show you the solution coming up in a little while, which I think is ideal. So I've been using mostly Humility during the matches to put on like Dark Iron Dwarves or the A-bombs so that when I trade with them, my creatures don't die. So it's not completely useless, but there's probably some better things you can put in here. 2 Shield Bearers. This is like one of the only taunt creatures that you can put in this deck. You don't want any taunts besides things that have 0 attack power, because Moira, the wife, will actually attack into them and you don't want her dying. But Shield Bearers will help in the beginning of the match stave off some damage while you wait for other solutions. Just be careful you don't play the Shield Bearer in conjunction with Stormwind Champion, because that will actually pump up the Shield Bearer and make it attack. I put 1 Seal of Light in the deck. You're going to take a lot of damage in this fight. He plays very aggressively. He's going to go for face a lot. He's got a lot of weapons, so you're going to need some extra life. I chose the Seal of Light over the Holy Light in order to give yourself some utility so you can actually take out some of the weaker creatures at the same time. 2 Acidic Swamp Oozes. There was a lot of weapons in this deck. Emperor Thaurissan plays with the Fiery War Axe and also the Death's Bite, the Death's Embrace, or whatever it's called. Sorrow's Death, Sorrow, Breath, Weapon. That one. I put 2 Swamp Oozes in because Emperor Thaurissan has a lot of weapons in the deck. He has at least 4 of them that I've seen, so Swamp Oozes can take those out. Crazed Alchemist is the MVP of the deck. This is what you want in your starting hand. In fact, you might even want to concede until you have this in your starting hand. The Crazed Alchemist makes it so the wife can survive. On turn 2, you play this, and Moira goes from being a 3/1, very fragile and doing lots of damage every turn, to a 1/3, and that allows you to have some wiggle room with her health, and it makes it so you don't have to really worry about her killing you. So Crazed Alchemist is the MVP of this deck. Ironbeak Owls. You're going to need silences. So I have owls, and we'll talk about the spellbreakers in a little bit, but you need the owls and the spellbreakers to get through the abominations and the unstable ghouls. You want to neutralize them so they don't actually explode when they die and actually hurt Moira. You want to keep Moira as healthy as can be, and so the Ironbeak Owls are the way to do that, along with the Hand of Protection. Outdoor Peacekeepers, it's just a pretty powerful creature for the Paladin overall. He comes with a decent-sized body for 3/3 for 3, but he also can make enemies not really effective. So you can use this on Dark Iron Dwarves or A-Bombs or anything that has a health total to try to keep the damage down. It's a true Silver Champion, it's just a Paladin staple. It's removal, it's the ability to get rid of stuff. Blessing of Kings comes in handy as a win condition. You know, you can play this on your creatures. The Emperor does have Flame Strike, so being able to get creatures above 4 health is really, really key. If you cast this on something like a Venture Cove Mercenary, well, game over. Hammer of Wrath, just some removal with card draw. I didn't find this to be a very overall effective card. If you want to substitute something else in, that's fine, but it just was a little bit extra direct damage. Spellbreaker, I explained before why you need the silence. This one just comes with a bigger body. I have 2 Venture Cove Mercenaries. They try to give you some heavy damage. We want to have some beefy creatures at the end. This one's pretty inexpensive, so I went with it. Guardian of Kings is necessary. Again, you're going to be taking a lot of damage, so being able to put a 5/6 on the board and restore your own hero's health is great. And Stormweb Champion's just an all-around good card for pumping up other creatures, especially the Paladin's Hero Power, those little 1/1s and stuff like that. So this is the deck. Let's go ahead and try a couple matches and see how it fares.
Uther versus Emperor Thaurissan.
Okay, game number 1. Let's see what the starting hand looks like. Alright, we got the Crazed Alchemist, which is what we want. The other 2 we don't need. Other cards that you want in your opening hand would be the Blessing of Wisdom, so you can play it on Moira. Or the Ironbeak Owl is really good. You want some silences early on if possible. The Acidic Swamp Ooze is another good one. Alright, first turn, I'm not going to do anything here. The Humility on the wife would not be a great idea because we want to flip-flop the health and the attack so we can make her into a 1/3 with the Crazed Alchemist, which is what we're going to do here on turn 2. We'll put this out, and now suddenly she's more resilient and less of a threat. So that's perfect. Okay, bringing out a lot of little creatures here. You can see he's just being very aggressive, attacking face. That's why we do have some heal spells in here. Alright, I don't have too great of a play. I'm going to take out the Imp there. I'll play the Taunt and put out a Dude. Pass the turn. And these taunts are just basically here to be a speed bump. Alright, there's Death's Bite, the weapon I couldn't get the name right earlier. Alright, and there's, you can see one of the bad things about this deck is once that weapon dies, it's going to deal 1 damage to all minions, including the wife. So we have to be careful here. I want to kind of put him out of range of getting killed by that. That's why I'm attacking face, because the gnome is actually going to be taken out by this weapon here in a minute. So I figured, why bother attacking that? My life is still doing okay. He puts out a leper gnome, which is going to get taken out by his own weapon. So sometimes the AI helps you out a little bit here. But now the wife is a little bit in risk of dying. So that's why we have some cards in here like the ability to give it Divine Shield. Alright, I'm going to put out a big fat creature so we have some aggression on the board. We'll start doing some damage here. Okay, he brings out an A-Bomb. Now you can see right here, if the A-Bomb dies, he's going to kill the wife, and then it's game over for me. So that's why we have silences in the deck. Fortunately, I have the Ironbeak Owl sitting right here. It's a little bit of an expensive owl, but definitely necessary. I do have 1 mana left over, which is perfect for Humility. This is why they're in the deck. Watch the trade. The trade now is favorable for me. I don't lose my creature, and I still keep a board presence that's pretty substantial. The Emperor does play 2 Flame Strikes, so when he gets to 7 mana, make sure you're not giving him too much of a card advantage with the Flame Strike. He's going to play that, get some cards, some armor, and what do we got for our turn here? Alright, we can play our weapon and smack it into the Imp Gang Boss Lord guy, him. So he'll create a little 1/1. And I'm going to opt here to take out the 1/1 with my owl, even though I lose my creature, because I just want to put some more damage on the dwarf. I want to get him lower life before he can finish off the wife with one of his mini methods. Alright, it's turn 7. We do, in fact, get the Flame Strike. And only our Venture Co. mercenary survives. Alright, got Seal of Light there. Alright, we're going to Hammer Wrath to face, see if we get a better card. And we get Blessing of Kings. Perfect. Alright, so now we can pump this guy up to 11 and hit really hard. I'll use the weapon as well, get him as low as possible. He does have ways to give himself armor, so like that. But we still have 11 damage on the board. Death's Bite's not going to change anything, and we should be able to secure the win quite handedly. Alright, our turn, and that is it. And boom. Alright, we're going to actually play a second game here, so you can see that it was not a fluke, and it is actually repeatable with this deck. So here's game number 2. Here is the starting hand. Once again, I got a Crazed Alchemist.
I will fight with honor.
The other cards I'm not really too keen on having in my opening hand. So we get a Humility and a Venture Co. Not the best, but we do want a Crazed Alchemist in there. And we did get it. And a Blessing of Kings doesn't really help us out too much. See what he does on his first turn. He attacks, does nothing else. Okay. So now we're going to do the Crazed Alchemist play again. You can see, very similar to last game so far. Alright, this time we get an Unstable Ghoul almost right away. It's kind of a little bit of a nuisance. I don't have a Silence. Don't have a great play here, so I'm going to use an Aldor Peacekeeper even though the battle cry does nothing. I just wanted a 3/3 on the board, and I chose not to attack. Gonna attack face here. He's gonna get some cards and some armor. And the Ghoul chooses to actually attack into my Crazed Alchemist, which is interesting. Alright, let's put down the Blessing of Kings so that we actually have a big fatty on the board after this Ghoul dies. We can just hit for 7 right to the face. We gotta be a little bit careful. The wife's down to 2 life. He's coining out. Oh, it's 5 mana, and it's an A-Bomb. Okay, if this A-Bomb goes off, it's game over. I don't currently have a way to give it Divine Shield, but fortunately, I top deck a Spellbreaker here to get rid of the threat. That was kind of a lucky draw right there, but keep in mind there are 4 silences and 2 Divine Shields in this deck, so the chances are that you can deal with something like that pretty frequently. I also played a couple games with Blessing of Wisdom when it came out, and I actually got it on the wife pretty early, and every single turn I was drawing 2 cards, which was really nice. Alright, so here we're going to take out the Dwarf by using Humility. And now we've got 4 creatures on the board. He's at 6 mana, so we can't do a Flame Strike yet, but keeping in mind, we don't want to load up the board too much next turn. Alright, he draws a weapon, he takes out the Peacekeeper, puts out an Imp Gang Boss. And we get ourselves another Blessing of Kings. So I kind of want to use this to put the Spellbreaker out of range of the Flame Strike, but I realize after I kill the Imp Gang Boss here that that's no longer the case. We'll take out the Imp with my dude, and then we're going to use the Crazed Alchemist to swap the Spellbreaker's stats. That way he will survive the Flame Strike, and we will hit to the face for 7. Okay, here comes the Flame Strike. He's going to actually axe the Peacekeeper and take another 7, which is fine by me. We still have somebody on the board. Okay, big old Stormwind Champion coming down here to pump up my guy to 5 damage. He's down to 13. Okay, he's drawing more cards, more armor. Another Dwarf. You can see he doesn't play the Dwarf effectively. He uses... The wife usually attacks first before he does anything else. She seems to work a little bit independently. Alright, we're going to pump our health up a bit. At this point, I'm not worried about taking out the Dwarf anymore. I'll just put another dude down, and we'll just be very aggressive here. Bring him down to 6. Brings down a Dark Iron Stalker. which does 2 damage to all undamaged minions. He takes out my Stormwind Champion. He actually puts armor in, which makes it so I don't have lethal on the board anymore. Okay, we do have a shield bearer. We could throw that down just to block some damage. Not that we really need that. Another Venture Co. And we can bring down a dude. And we'll go face. And he's got one more turn to turn this around. Somehow get rid of the wife and use his hero power. He puts another Stalker down. Takes out the taunt. Hits me for 1. Has an axe. And a gang boss. And that's really it. There's nothing else he can do. Once he passes the turn, we've got this. Alright, so you should be able to win with this deck. Once again, it is a budget deck. Most people should have the ability to craft this without too much problems. Let me know in the comments below if you use this deck to win. I'd be curious to hear if this deck has helped you. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up button before you go. And subscribe to the channel so you can be notified when future videos are released. I hope everybody has a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. Take care.